So AMC is moving exactly how GameStop was moving back in January when it had its short squeeze. And there's a lot more things that are quite interesting that I'm going to dive into here that are going to give you a lot of confidence in AMC short squeeze. I wanted to compare numbers from January, the beginning of January when we had the GameStop short squeeze, the actual short squeeze when we had those big moves, big swings. They happened quickly too. And so I have a bunch of numbers for you to compare from, next to each other. And what you're looking at here is the GameStop chart from January right here. This is just the beginning. And this is just the beginning chart, obviously, for AMC. Now, before I talk about this beautiful chart that you're looking at here, and what this means, like this is currently what we have for AMC, and this is what happened at the beginning of the short squeeze for GameStop. Before I do that, I want to look at some numbers with you. Some interesting numbers. So, GameStop. The highest, the highest price it was before it started getting shorted or it started a downtrend was around $50. And this was in 2013. Since 2013, GameStop came all the way down to 257. From 50, right? That was the lowest point, and the lowest point was in 2020. It was in April 3rd of 2020. So how many years in the downtrend? 7 years. And it came down 94.9% in 7 years. Now, if we compare AMC, the highest point before the short or downtrend was $20.70. And that was in 2018, so not so far away. And then the lowest point of the short, if we call it that, was 1.91, which happened in January 8th of 2021. Can you believe that? AMC was just $2 in January. That's just nuts. Okay, so years in the downtrend, 2.3, so not quite that much as GameStop. GameStop definitely suffered a lot more. But if you can see, the drop was pretty close to similar numbers, but the drop was 90.8%. Now, when did we have the first pop? The first pop for GameStop was in 2020 in April, when the price went from $2.57 to $6.50, April 3rd of 2020. So that was a pop of 152%. You could look at the same numbers and have a different perspective and different conclusion. Now, this is my conclusion, and these numbers are based on what I see on the charts. You could see something else. It's normal. Now, when I'm considering the first pop for AMC, right here, where we went from like $3 to 20, and this was when AMC was following GameStop back in January. It went, 848% up, obviously. We went from that lowest point, from like 272 to like 25. So here's the interesting thing. After the first pop for GME, we consolidated, meaning we went flat, for 147 days. And then for AMC, 125 days. So consolidation square for GameStop, and then for AMC, pretty similarly. Okay, GameStop, the short squeeze, I believe, started in August 28th. When it was at $4, that was the lowest point of the squeeze. And obviously the highest point was 514.5, which it happened in January 28th of 2021. It was 12,541% squeeze. If my numbers are wrong, let me know in the comments below. I'm not perfect. And here I'm saying the squeeze happened for about 153 days. From the start to the end, meaning from the start to the end at the peak. I'm not saying when it went down again. Just from the lowest point to the highest point. 158 days, 22 weeks, 5.5 months. Right? If it gives you perspective on, it happened in 153 days. It didn't just happen right away, right? Now the swings, the big moves happened right away, but I'll talk about that in a bit. Okay, so here I was looking at the consolidations and pops, and that's the reason why I said and I mentioned that my perspective on this and yours would be different. But because if you zoom out, you're gonna see more consolidations. If you zoom in, you're gonna see more pops, drops, pops, drops. So from my eagle perspective, this is what I gathered. I gathered like 9 pops, meaning like a pop in price, and 7 consolidations with an average consolidation of 8 days. This is, you know, taking a look into everything. You can pause and look at this because it would take me 2 years to read all of this, but you can look at it and then compare what we've had so far with AMC. You know, 1 pop and then consolidation, pop number 2, consolidation, drop number 1, and then consolidation number 2. Like I said, pause this, look at it. This data right here is what I looked after I looked at all of those numbers. Now the AMC, the time that it went from $20 to 70, 20 to 70 plus 70 plus, for AMC was 6 days, and you already, you know, it just happened. For GameStop was 9 days. Yeah, so they went from 20 to 70 plus very closely in the same amount of days. Now that I just wanted to show you that before. Now we're going to look at charts, and I'm going to show you exactly what I'm saying. We're also going to look at the short interest from back then when the short squeeze was happening for GME, and then the short interest for AMC right now, and how similarly they're moving. And immediately after the consolidation for AMC, we have the short squeeze. But for GameStop, as you can see, it started going up from $5. It went all the way up to 27. Now, if you look at it zoomed out like this, you could see this as a consolidation. That's what I was saying. If you zoom in, it's actually going up. It went up from 5 to like 20, right? It's going up. Now, that's what I was saying. We skipped this whole thing for AMC and we jumped straight into here. Now, at the beginning, I was looking at it wrong, and then I said, wait a minute. What if I compare the 2 numbers that are similar? And I started comparing when AMC went from 20 to 70 plus. And then I said, wait a minute. What happened when GameStop went from 20 to 70 plus? And then I noticed the similarity. And I say, wait a second. Something's happening here. So from 20 to 70 plus, 9 days for GameStop, 6 days for AMC. And look at the trend line. Don't they look similar? I'm gonna squeeze it out a little bit just so you can see. Look at that. We had this big pop here, same over here, and then we had some sort of consolidation, or I call it doubt, when a stock is just moving and not moving that much, and you know it's either gonna drop dead or it's either gonna pop. These are these 4 candles right here. 1, 2, 3, 4 candles for GameStop. 4 candles for AMC. And that was before a huge pop. Look at that, there's a huge pop. Two green candles, beautiful. 2 green candles here. And then the rest, you can just look at them. Look at how it's moving. It's moving similarly. Look at that. The same wave. And there's a step here, there's a step here. Similarly, for GameStop. Right, after the pop, after those 4 candles, like I said, it popped up massively. All the way, you know, wait a minute, yeah, to 70. That's 70 right here. Now, GameStop had only 4 candles of like I said, consolidation per se. And then it had a huge pop. With AMC, it looks like we're having more than 4 candles, actually. And our consolidation, it's happening here as we see it. It's been like 3 plus days, like 4. We're getting to the 4th day of consolidation. But I just want to look at the consolidation, even if it happened differently for the GameStop, where it popped all the way up to 120 and it consolidated a lot more. The consolidation we're looking at here could also be this little one right here for GameStop, and then we had a huge pop. But then they had a similar consolidation. Obviously, these two are moving differently. In that sense, at least, some things are very similar, and some things are just different in terms of exponentials. This is it's called a bull pennant. Now, I've seen comments on Facebook, people saying it was a bearish pennant, but it's not, because we're going from down, up, all the way up, and then down, higher lows, lower highs, and then a squeeze up. If it was the other way, if we had come from a high to a low, and then we see this, then it's, it goes down, consolidation, down. But we're going up, consolidation, up. So it is a bullish pennant, just like you see it right here. So we had a bullish pennant in GameStop, and then it happened right here. You see, it happened between 22 and 26. That's like 4 days, and then boom, up. 4 days of that consolidation, and then up massively, right? Here, we went to 76, and then now we're consolidating. How many days? 3 or 4. So I believe that this could happen today or maybe after hours. Maybe we'll stay flat all the way until the next day. But this is definitely a very exciting time. This is break or make. So, I mean, typically bullish pennants, they break up, up in the uptrend. So now you can look at it better. So we might, it might drop a little bit to 50 or something. So that's what I'm hoping. Now, if it stays around here, I'll have to buy around 51. It's fine. I'll buy more around here. But very exciting times. Now, anyways, look at this. On the left, we have AMC. On the right, we have GameStop. What is this? This is the short interest data from Ortex. At the moment, I want to show you what that is. For AMC, we are at 56 million current short interest data. Now, I know it has been going down, and a lot of paper hands have been exiting the play because of this. They think that it's over. And so I wanted to show you what happened to GameStop back then, what happened to the short interest, if it's moving similarly or if it's not, and then you can judge it by yourself. AMC on the left, GameStop on the right. What you see here is, here is the start of the squeeze for AMC, what I call the start of the squeeze, of the short squeeze. Like I said, someone else could look at it differently. This is just my opinion, and my numbers make sense for me. The start of the squeeze, apparently, we were around 78 million short interest. 78 million. That's when I think it started happening. That's where I believe the short squeeze happened in reality. But, like the big moves starting to happen. And then right now we are around 56 million short interest. That's a drop in 36%, almost 37% drop from those two numbers that I just showed you. For GameStop, at the beginning of the short squeeze, that big move, at the beginning of the big move, not at the beginning of like 2020. I'm talking January. Here, you can see January, like 13 or something. Short interest was around 64 million, dropped to around 34 million. That's a drop of 88% in short interest. Remember that GameStop had a bigger move. So like, why is this dropping? It dropped all the way down to like 10 million. Yeah, why would you think it's gonna drop? Because people are obviously they're returning shares. They're getting out of their plays, like of the short plays, because they don't want to get trapped into a monster like this. But I just wanted to show you the similarities of, this is the time period that we're in right now. I'm just looking at the start of the squeeze for GameStop, and around day 28 or 29, this is the start of the squeeze for AMC, and we're right now around 29 days since the beginning of the short squeeze. So I just wanted to compare those two things. And the pink line that you see right here, I had to estimate it because Ortex was not graphing it. So I'm expecting a linear relationship between this point and where we are right now. See, I do have strong conviction now that we're gonna see a short squeeze, and I'm gonna buy a lot of shares and I'm not gonna sell them because I'm just showing you the similarities. They're pretty similar. If it hits, it's gonna hit huge. If it doesn't, I'm just gonna lose this much and I'll be fine. You know what I'm saying? If it drops like 30, 40%, I'll just exit or something if I see that the short squeeze is not happening or something like that. But remember, there was big drops with GameStop too. So, but if you're gonna gamble with AMC. Why not? You know what I'm saying? Like, it's a better gamble than going to the casino or like any other type of gamble. In my opinion, is very exciting. I think this video is too long already. You guys have a good day. I appreciate you watching this video, and definitely drop a comment down below with your opinion on my numbers and then what you're doing with AMC, and let's go apes.